Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason, speaking here in my basement in the great state of Kansas. And I'm here again on live stream with my friends Adam and Jacob as we do our monthly album exchange that we do with not only with Adam and Jacob, but also with Scott from Sound Up Studios, Briar from Briar's Music Showcase, and Nick from Townsend 505. Those three will do a separate stream that they'll talk about all six albums that we're gonna kind of review on this exchange because all six of us picks an album. We review the albums anyways. So we'll do part one today, which is three albums, and then next week we'll do part two, which the other three albums we'll review anyway. So
Yeah,
yeah. So how you guys doing?
I'm doing good.
Doing good. Glad to see it. You're feeling better, Adam.
Yeah,
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 I'm start doing live streams again. This is
Yeah.
the first one I've done in about 3 weeks.
yeah. I'm glad you're feeling better.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So I guess we'll get to the first album on our album exchange, which is my album. So I guess I'll go first this time around.
hmm
Talk about the album that I picked, which is actually a live album I picked this time. And the live album is called Best Concert Ever, and the singer's name is Jonathan Colton. And this concert came out in 2009. I do have this on CD as well, but I have it in a box right now, so I can't pull it out and show it to anybody. But what's interesting, if you get and I saw Briar bought this as well. If you get the CD, whatever, it also comes with a DVD of the concert, so you can watch the actual concert on DVD. Which, if you watch it on DVD, there's extra stuff on there that's not on the CD. A little more banter and back and forth between people, between Jonathan and the audience and stuff like that. Anyways, it's a really good concert. In fact, when I discovered Jonathan Colton and I was looking, you can see a lot of his stuff on YouTube. If you search his name on YouTube, you'll find a lot of concert footage of him singing different songs and stuff like that. There's a lot of good stuff on there. I think I saw this on, one of the streaming channels like Amazon or Hulu or something. I don't know. One of the streaming channels had like this concert on their streaming channel, and that's where I saw this concert first when I first discovered Jonathan Colton, and then I watched the concert and I was like, wow, this is such a fun concert to watch. It was a blast, and the concert actually has a lot of interviews with them. It'll go back and forth between like the concert part, and then it'll go into like him kind of getting ready for the concert and packing up like his bags and stuff like that, and getting in a car and driving and it's in San Francisco, I believe. It's this kind of a small venue that they plays at, and there's interviews where he's being interviewed by news people, whatever, around that area. And so you get a little bit of a backstory. He kind of talks a little bit about his backstory in the DVD as well. So very cool stuff. So it's a pretty cool overall package, the CD itself. And there's also an audio commentary. I've watched the concert probably 3 or 4 times now, and I've watched it with the audio commentary, which was interesting as well. So it's really cool. Anyways, but I want to talk a little bit about my backstory with Jonathan Colton, why I picked him for this exchange. And I was telling Adam about this. We were kind of talking behind the scenes, and I discovered him through a video game, actually. There's a video game. He was in two video games, Portal and Portal 2. And if you don't know those games, they're a little while ago, because I feel like this was more than 10 years ago when I used to play Portal 2 anyways. And I had an Xbox 360, so I know you could play on an Xbox 360 and probably like a PlayStation 3 or something like that, probably during that time period. And really fun, at least the one I played, Portal 2, really fun game. If you haven't heard of it, where you're kind of in this like futuristic kind of world or something. They're in this facility, and you're getting forced to go through these rooms, and you have to use this portal gun to solve the puzzle and how to get out of the room, basically. And each room gets more complicated and complicated. Not only that, but then the computer character who's like forcing you to go through these rooms also talks to you in between, and it's pretty funny. There's some really funny dialogue, In Portal 2, there's also this other character me Adam were talking about, Wheatley, played by Stephen Merchant.
Wheatley.
If you know Stephen Merchant, he's a really funny British comedic actor. And Wheatley is, oh man, the funniest character I've ever seen in a video game. J.K. Simmons also voices kind of a character in the game as well, and he's hilarious as well. J.K. Simmons, the stuff that he says. But anyways, it was such a fun. Anyways, when I got an Xbox 360, I got Portal 2 because I kept hearing that it was like one of the funniest video games ever, and like one of the best video games. Anyways, and I loved it. It's, in my opinion, I had it in my top 5 favorite video games of all time. And I talk about this because at the very end of Portal 2, as you play it, you beat it, and you're kind of going to the surface because you're like underground in this facility, the scientific facility, and you're kind of in this elevator going up to the. And while you're going up, they play you the song called "Want You Gone," and it's sung by the villain character, kind of the computer character. He was voiced by a female, and she sings the song. All I want. It's not on this album, unfortunately. It's like one song that I wish was on this live album. It's a great song, but it's super catchy. Definitely need to check that out if you haven't. But anyway, it's super. Oh, the song was so good, and you sit there and you're just listening to them sing the song at the end of this video game. You're like, wow, that song was so cool. Like, I thought it was like such a great song. Like, it's the first time I've really played a video game. Maybe the only video game I can say similar is like Red Dead Redemption 2's some of the best music I've ever heard in a video game. But yeah, where I like after I listened to it, I'm like, I need to check these people out. Who wrote this song? Like, I need to get this on iTunes. You know, at the time before I had Spotify, I was like, I need to buy this on iTunes and get it on my iPod or whatever, because I thought that song was so cool. Anyway, so yeah, so after I played the video game, I was like, I need to search. You know, I had no idea who wrote the song or if I could find it on iTunes or something like that. Anyway, so I had to do research, and I found a YouTube clip of Jonathan Colton singing the song from Portal 1, which is in this album, Still Alive. Still Alive is the song from Portal 1 that he wrote for that video game. And then Want You Gone is the song he wrote for Portal 2. And I found a YouTube video of him singing both songs, like in a concert or whatever. And I remember just watching it, and I had no idea that this guy was the guy who wrote the song for the video game. Because he looks just like a regular guy. He looks like, he's kind of a nerdy looking guy. I'm like, did some IT guy go up there on open mic night and sing these songs? Like, I was like, he sounds pretty good. I remember watching it going, I don't know who this guy is, but he's pretty good. I didn't realize it was Jonathan Colton, the guy who wrote the songs, because it's just him and acoustic guitar playing these songs, which is different than the video game because he doesn't sing it in the video games. It's sung by the actress that plays the robot. Whatever the main robot character, whatever. But I remember watching it going, wow, this guy's really good. I need to see who this guy is. And then his name was Jonathan Colton in the YouTube video. And then I looked up Jonathan Colton and I realized, oh, he's the guy who wrote the songs for the video game. Because he doesn't look like I don't know how to say it. It just looks like a regular guy. He looks like me or you. It just, he doesn't look like a musician, he just kind of got long, curly kind of red hair and wears glasses and has, you don't think, oh, this is like some famous musician guy or whatever. Anyways, and I was like really interested, like, okay, who's this guy? What has he written before? What other songs does he have? And so doing research, I found like, oh, he has a bit of a kind of a cult following, I guess you can say. He's not big, he's not on the radio, like probably nobody in my group's ever heard of this guy. And I would be surprised most people listening to this haven't heard of this guy because he's not famous necessarily outside, unless you're like me and you discover him by accident by playing a video game. You're like, huh, who's this guy? And so, yeah, so it's a very interesting way of discovering a musician anyways, out of a video game and then doing a deep dive on him and then going, oh, he has other really cool songs that I really enjoy as well. And so, yeah, after looking him up and seeing like he does these, and the best way to describe him is he does, he's more like pop, folk rock style, I guess. But his songs are very humorous. Most of his songs are very humorous, and they deal with kind of nerd culture, what I call nerd culture, very nerdy type subject matters. But he writes the music in a funny point of view that I've never heard before. Like he'll write the song in the viewpoint of the villain, and it'll be absolutely hilarious, as you'll see in some of these songs that we'll talk about. Um, but yeah, so I just love that he's got this. I love humorous. Of course, I'm a big Weird Al Yankovic fan. I love humor songs. So when I discovered it and I started listening to his music, man, I just fell in love with his music, and I love his style. I think he has a really good voice. I think his music is very catchy and lyrically just very funny. He has some serious songs, but most of them are just very funny type songs, as you'll see on this live album. He does have some studio albums, like, and the way he got started is he after college he went to like Yale or something, and he got like a degree in computer programming or something like that. And he worked, as a computer doing something with computer codes or whatever, and sitting in a what do you call it, cubicle or whatever, and of course if you've noticed the song Code Monkey. Code Monkey is basically kind of almost biographical about about his life. It's all about someone who writes computer code and is getting tired of working that job and wants something better. Anyway, so it's very interesting how he was kind of doing this computer code job and was not really into it. And of course, he loved playing music and writing his own songs. And people were like, "Yeah, you need to put your music on the internet." So he started putting his music on the internet, and that's how he kind of got noticed by music, I guess, record people. And then he got onto like a radio show and was playing music on there. And through that, he got connected to the Portal games, of course, and I'm sure he got. For me, I would guess the Portal games probably got him noticed by more and more people. And again, he started putting these studio albums. He did this project where he wrote a song every week, and so he has these albums called A Thing Week One or something like that. A Thing.
Oh,
If you look at his like albums, they're called like A Thing a Week or something like that, because he wrote a song every week for like a year or something like that, like just as see if he can do it kind of project anyways. And so he put some of those songs into some studio albums, and that's what you'll see if you look at Spotify and see his studio. So he didn't have, most of his album names are not great album names, but anyways, but yeah, through that he though wrote some really good stuff anyways. And yeah, that's kind of how he got known. Again, he's kind of more of a small but very, he is small. Like I said, when you watch the concert of this concert footage of this, he has a really good fan following. They're not big, he's not huge, but yet the fans that do follow him really love his music, kind of thing. So it's really cool just how he kind of went from nothing to then kind of getting success. It was really kind of cool story, I think. And yeah, and so right now he hasn't made any new albums in a while though, looking at his thing. And if you look on YouTube, I think you can find maybe some fairly current footage of him playing in concerts. His big thing is the Joe Coe cruises. He calls himself Joe Coe, of course, for Jonathan Colton. And he does these cruises where he's on the cruise and he plays concerts on the cruises, and he has some musical guests. So you go on a cruise, I guess, and then you can hear him, singing concert live. And I'm guessing that's how he gets most of his income right now.
I've never seen one of the cruises I've been on.
Yeah, you've been on a couple. Yeah, I wonder what that'd be like. It'd be kind of fun. It's kind of more for nerd kind of people that like this kind of stuff. Anyways, that's kind of the backstory of like where I found him, how I found this, and his whole backstory is very interesting, I think, overall. But anyways, getting to this, it's a live album, so this is kind of the greatest hits. That's why I picked it for the exchange. Like I could have picked a studio album, but none of the studio albums have a couple of really good stuff. But there's also a lot of throwaway songs as well on the studio albums, I would say. And so you're really only going to get his best stuff by listening to this album, I think, this live album. That's why I picked the live album. Like, to me, if you've never listened to Jonathan Colton, this is a good way to get into him and his music, is you're hearing like a lot of his best stuff here. And I actually kind of like his live version of stuff better than his studio version. I like it when it's just him and the acoustic guitar. I don't know. I just really enjoy the minimal, that his studio albums, he has more electric guitars and bass and drums and, more, different stuff in the studio. But I don't know, when it's just him, and he does have two other guys that sing kind of back up with him, as you'll hear on this album. They tour with him a lot too. They're like a duo group that they sing funny songs as well, and they're kind of nerdy looking. And then there's a girl that plays the ukulele or something, or the mandolin, that you'll hear on a couple songs. So there's only 4 people total on this album, anyway, which I think is like really cool about the album. And I do love how he interacts with the audience. He's very funny. Like I said, you get it even more on the DVD. He's a really funny guy. He's real good stage presence, and the way he talks with the audience is fun. I think you get it mostly in like a couple songs here. I think Your Brains is probably the best one because he gets the audience to sing along with the chorus.
Yeah.
All we want is to eat your brains, whatever that chorus is. And that is one of the best parts of the whole concert, because if you listen, because he goes into like, okay, I want you guys to sing along with me on this chorus. And he says, let's go through the chorus, and it's all I want to do is eat your brains, whatever. And so he'll go through it, and all I want to do is eat your brains. And he'll go, okay, that was good, but you guys don't sound like zombies. You guys need to sound like zombies. So try not to pronounce the words, perfectly. Try to sound terrible. And so then they go through it again, and they go, they do it like zombie. It's hilarious kind of to watch. And then they go through the song, and it makes the song even better, I think, with the audience participation. It makes it just a funner song. I think it was this Skull Crusher Mountain. I think he has them sing the chorus by themselves. That was a great part as well. That's one of my favorite parts of that song, is when he has the audience sing the chorus part at the very end of the song. Anyway, so just to say, overall, this is you really get his personality in this album, this live album. I think this is a great way to listen to him. Anyways, so that's all the backstory, I guess, of him. I know I'm going to talk a lot about him because there's a lot to say about this kind of new artist. Okay, I'll get into some songs. So I'll touch on some of my favorite stuff here. Very first song, Future Soon. Man, I love this song. One of the first songs I heard from him after the video game songs. I love it because he's going through this character who, at first, he likes this girl, but she like doesn't like him back. And then he sings like, it's going to be the future soon, and it's not going to be this way. And he's kind of talking about the future. Everything's going to be better. He's going to be better because he's very smart. And so then they go into the next verse. He's in the future. He lives on he's living on a space station, and he's inventing things like he's making dolphins speak. He's, and so it's funny how he's going through all these like different things. And then he reveals that he's also building this robot army. And you're like, oh no, what's going on here? And, he's going to try to teach them humanity so they don't take over the world or something like that. He said, or he doesn't want to kill all the humans, but he's obviously has a vendetta against the human race. He's even changing himself into a cyborg. He talks about in the song replacing body parts and stuff like that. And then my favorite part of the whole song is he comes back to the last verse. He meets, and I'm forgetting her name, but he comes back. He meets the girl that he liked at the beginning, but now she has bionic eyes because she lost the real ones in the robot wars. And he goes, "I'm sorry," and she goes, "It's not your fault." And then she pauses, or is it? That's the funniest part of the whole song. First time I heard it, I was like, "That's such a funny way to do that," because she realized, oh no, you're the villain of this whole thing. And so then he says, I'm gonna make her my robot bride at the end, and then it's just the future soon. And he goes in that chorus. Super catchy, very funny. I love the storytelling of it. IKEA is a funny song about IKEA, which is a furniture. I don't know if you know about IKEA, but it's a furniture store. It's a huge store. We have one in Kansas City. And it's just a song about that. It's a pretty funny song as well. Shop Vac's pretty good as well. It's got some great lines in it, like something about we don't have any real friends and the fake ones aren't very good either, or something like that. There's some great lines on that one. And it's about married life and and all that, and it's pretty funny. I'm Your Moon is a really good song. It's more kind of a love song in a way, pretty sweet. Baby Got Back, funniest cover song I've ever heard in my life. You have to hear that. If you haven't heard Baby Got Back from Jonathan Colton, you have to hear it. It's even funnier in the concert because he has the two guys that are, I'm forgetting their names now, that sing with him. They're doing backup singing. The harmonies are so good, and this is the song about a guy liking girls with big butts. That's the song. It's a kind of dirty rap song by Sir Mix-a-Lot. We've all seen the commercials, you know. I like big butts and I cannot lie. Bum 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 bum. That's like the song. But he turns into like a love ballad. And I don't know how he did it, but it's like a nice, sweet song, even though lyrically it's still dirty in some parts. It's so funny. And it's funny because they're so white. You know, Jonathan Colton and the two guys behind him, they're like the whitest guys. And the guys in the background are singing LA face with an Oakland booty, and that's what they're singing over and over again. But it sounds so nice, but it's like what like, and you hear the audience laughing because it's just so funny. Like lines like I think it says like even white boys have to shout is one of the lines, and in the concert footage the two guys in the back nod their heads when he says even white boys have to shout or something like that, and they it's hilarious. It's one of the funniest songs I've ever heard. But man, that chorus is so good. That baby got back. The way he does it, it sounds so great. I don't know how he did it, but man, he turned a rap song into a beautiful like love song or something. Anyways, yeah, love that. Chiron Beta Prime, really funny Christmas song where they're enslaved by robots and they're singing this song back, or he's writing this letter back to his family and he's trying to pretend like everything's good, but obviously it's not because they're enslaved by these robots. And it's kind of funny how he talking about like Christmas in this like, you know, futuristic like alien, you know, planet called Chiron Beta Prime. That's the name of the planet they're on. And I love like in one part he's gonna say something, but then it stops and goes radio edit, meaning like the robots erase whatever he's gonna say. Really funny stuff there. I know Jacob, you like Tom Cruise Crazy. That's kind of a fun song. Some really good bass work on that song. Code Monkey, really cool song. Again, he's talking about himself being, you know, working as doing code, and he calls himself a code monkey. And he doesn't like doing it, and it's a really sweet song. I love the mandolin playing is really good on it. The dun 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 dun. I love it. Live version is really good, and I just love like, you know, he likes the receptionist girl, but she's like, I got to go to work and all this, and he walks back real sad back to his cubicle, and I don't know, I love that. And the chorus is so good, you know. Code Monkey love what was it? Something. Code Monkey loves Cab and Mountain Dew. Code Monkey Simple Man with something fuzzy heart, and Code Monkey likes you. Really great chorus as well. Creepy Doll, I'm not as big of a fan of. It's a weird song. Still Alive, that was the song from Portal 1. Great song, very catchy as well. I Crushed Everything is a really nice song. Skull Crusher Mountain, another really, it's a point of view of basically a mad scientist, like James Bond villain, and he's Skull Crusher Mountain is like his island lair that he has, and the whole song is sung through his point of view, where his I think it's henchman Scar or something like that, I forget, kidnaps a woman and brings it to him, and he kind of falls in love with this girl that he's kidnapped, and he's singing to her, and he's like, doesn't understand why she doesn't like him back. And it's like, it's hilarious because they're like, of course he doesn't like you back, you're this evil scientist who kidnapped her. And he's trying to please her as much as he can, and he even makes a half pony half monkey monster to please her because he thinks, oh, you like ponies, you like monkeys. And he's like, why are you screaming? And it's hilarious. Oh my gosh, like that second verse is so funny. Did I use too many monkeys? Isn't it enough I killed a pony just to, you know, please you? it's so funny. And of course, you know, oh, so good. You're afraid of me or something like that, and even my henchmen think I'm crazy, or I agree or something like that. Is there any way you can? I'm forgetting the chorus, but it's so good. And he says, even the voices inside my head said I shouldn't kill you yet. So he's obviously crazy. He's hearing voices. It's so funny. I love that song. You Ruined Everything is a really sweet song about his birth of his son. And he's saying, and he says, everything was great before you're born, but now everything's even better. Oh, very sweet song. He says, you ruined everything in the nicest way. Really, really nice. One of his more serious songs. Um, then the last song I'll talk about is Your Brains, another classic of his. I think everybody loves this song. It's sung through a guy who's a zombie. Yeah, and I love how it begins with, "Hey Tom, it's or Bob, it's Tom across the hall. Hey, how has it been? I'm okay, except I'm a zombie now." And it's like he says it so casually, like, "Oh yeah, everything's great." He's like having casual conversation. "Oh, but yeah, now I'm a zombie, and I really want to come in and eat your brains." Is basically what he's saying. And the song is so hilarious. Like the way it's sung by this guy he works in an office, so he's using all this office lingo. Hey, let's table this for now. Let's, all these funny terms. And the whole thing is he's trying to negotiate with this other guy that works in the office to open the door so him and his zombie friends can come in and eat them. And so it's just funny how he's trying to, hey, let's compromise. You open up the door and we'll come in and eat your brains. And that's the compromise. It's like, that's a terrible compromise. It only helps you, the zombies. So I love how it's sung through I've never heard a song like that where it's sung through the point of view of the zombie who somehow can still talk and negotiate. But it's one of the funniest songs and great chorus again with the audience participation with all I want to do is eat your brains. I mean, no one's going to eat your eyes. He says it's like a nice thing. Anyway, so yeah, I love that song as well. Anyways, again, there's 20 songs. I would say there's 15 really good songs on here. There's about 5 songs I'm not crazy about. Again, because it's such a long album, there's so many songs. They're not all going to be, home run hitters, but I think there's enough really good stuff on here. It's a fun listen. I'm gonna give my top 5 favorite songs on the album, since there's 20 songs on here, and lots of, like I said, all those other songs I talked about are like honorable mentions. But number 5, I got Code Monkey. Number 4, Your Brains. Number 3, Baby Got Back. Number 2, Skull Crusher Mountain. And number 1 is The Future Soon. The first song is my favorite. But again, those are all so good. They all could be number 1. I think they're all just really good songs. And I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10 as a live album. It's not a studio album. So if it was a studio album, I wouldn't give it probably a 10. But because it's a live album, it's a little different. I'm going to give it the 10 just because as a live album, it's so fun. I love the audience participation. I love just him. Like I said, I love him and the acoustic guitar on a lot of the songs, and the addition of like the 2. There's only 4 people on here. I don't know. I love all of that, and there's enough really great songs on here that I will. Even though there's some bad songs on here, I know Jacob might get to some of them. There's enough good stuff on here. I still think it's a really great live album. So I'm sorry I talked a lot, but I just had a lot to say on this album. So I'll give it to you, Adam. What do you think? What do you think of Jonathan Coulton?
Well, I didn't realise you did the Portal songs at first. I didn't realise once I heard what the songs on this album, with me being still alive. So yeah, I'll give my thoughts on the album. I think it's quite cool that we're reviewing a live album for the Exchange.
Yeah.
But you start off with one of the best tracks on the album, the Future Soon. Yeah, I really love that one. And then I also love IKEA as well. I've been there a couple of times.
Oh, okay.
So I could definitely relate to that one. You even mentioned about the meatballs that you get there as well.
Yep. You get meatballs there.
Yeah. I think Shot Back's really good. I'm Your Moon. I really love that one. Was probably my favourite of the serious songs on the album.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really good love song. Baby Got Back. I liked it, but I can't get away with with big butts cannot lie lyrics.
I like big butts and I cannot lie. Just the way he sings it, it's hilarious.
Is it? I think it's Kenny Saw Mountain Landers.
Yeah.
That one's good. I think Carmen Better Prime. That one's good. I really like the chorus in that one. It's very very catchy.
Merry Christmas from Chiron Better Prime. Yeah.
Then you got Tom Cruise Crazy. Yeah, I quite like that one. I thought that one was quite funny. Then you've got Code Monkey. Yeah, I really enjoyed Code Monkey. I think you mentioned monkey a bit too many times in the song. I got the gist of it. I got the gist of it towards the end. That was like,
Yeah.
no more monkeys, please. But I really enjoyed that one. I also quite like Creepy Doll as well.
You like
I
Creepy Doll?
know you weren't a fan of that one. But I
Yeah.
actually really like that one.
Wasn't a big fan on that one, but
Then you got Still Alive. Yeah, one of my favourites on here. I was pleasantly surprised to hear that song on here because I realised I knew a song of his. And then you got the song Mr. Fancy Pants. Yeah, I didn't care for this one.
no, I didn't care for that one.
It was one of his favourite songs on the
It was
album.
a silly song. I don't even
Yeah,
get
I didn't really like that one very much.
what's going on with that one.
But I really loved I Crush Everything. That one made my top 5.
Yeah, it's a beautiful song.
I also really love Skull Crusher Mountain. Yeah, I really like the lyrics of that one.
Yeah.
It's very silly, but very funny. And then you got you ruined everything. So you got Mandelbrot set. Yeah, I like that one. You ruined everything. I thought that one was really good. And you got the one about Eat Your Brains. I just found it really funny that everyone was singing along to that chorus.
Yeah. That's what's so good about it.
Yeah, I quite like that one. It was all right. Then you got a Talk with George. Yeah, I quite like that one. And I Feel Fantastic. I thought that one was really good, but I didn't think the album ended the best with First of May.
It was a terrible ending to the album.
Yeah, that wasn't one of my favourites.
I wish they wouldn't have had that song on there. It's my least favorite.
That's my least favourite after Mr. Fancy Pants.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, those are the 2 worst ones.
But I'll get to my top 5. So for number 5 is I Crush Everything. Number 4, I've gone with The Future Soon. My number 3, I've gone with Still Alive. Number 2, I've gone with IKEA.
Okay.
And my favourite is I'm Your Moon.
Oh, I'm Your Moon. Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a nice song.
And that's as for rating. I think there's just too many songs on this album. The some I thought were alright, but the some I thought were really good. So overall, I'm going to give it an 8.5.
Okay.
At some point, I definitely want to check out one of the studio albums.
Yeah, this is a good. Again, this is a good album to first kind of get into them, and then listen to the studio albums. And there's some other good songs in there that aren't on this album that you can get to if you go through some of the studio stuff. But yeah.
All right, I guess it's my turn.
Yeah.
All right.
Listening for 30 minutes, so now you can talk.
Jonathan Colton. Never heard of this guy a day in my life until Jason's like, hey, let's listen to this live album, the best concert ever. I'm like, really? This is the best concert ever? This is better than Queen at Live Aid? This is better than Johnny Cash at Folsom Prison? Better than the Beatles rooftop concert? I think you're stretching it too thin there. But I'm like, yeah, I'll give this a shot. Because it's on the Exchange. This is definitely not the best concert ever. But to be honest, I had some decent fun with this album. There was a lot of comedy songs on this album, and some of them were pretty funny. I'll go for all the. I guess the best thing to share my thoughts on this is go for all the track listing similar to what Adam did. Future Soon really funny song. Really like that one. I thought that left a really good impression. It's in my top 5.
Cool.
IKEA. I was kind of blown away by how hilarious this song was.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been to an IKEA store in my life like Adam has, but I know what it is and I know people's thoughts on it. And so making a song about how glorious it is. Yeah, this song is silly, but it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Shop Vac, that was pretty good. I'm Your Moon. I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't the biggest fan of the serious songs on the album. I thought they were kind of boring. So this one was just kind of an song to me. I guess I can get why Adam, you really like the song, but I was like, nah, not really for me. Baby Got Back. Oh boy, where do I begin with Baby Got Back? I saw the title, I'm like, it's not that Baby Got Back, is it? And then he would start going, oh, I like big butts. And I'm like, oh no, we're really doing this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, he was singing it, and he was singing the lyrics to the rap song, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not a big fan of the rap song as it is. But I'm like, what am I listening to? Why is he singing this? Honestly, him singing the dirtier lyrics in that style made the song 10 times more cringe, in my opinion. So I'm like, no, this was a big dip in score.
Oh, really?
Because he covered this song. I'm like, no, this is
brilliant.
Bad.
I pulled it off.
Kennesaw Mountain Landis. Not a fan of that one. Back to Quality with Chiron Beta Prime. I thought that one was good. Tom Cruise Crazy was the funniest song on the whole album. I think because I love watching Tom Cruise in the Mission Impossible movies, and this song kind of poking fun of some of his personal life and him as a movie star. I thought the song was hilarious, so I think I got a lot of the jokes in the song, and I thought it was pretty good. I think kind of ahead of its time because he's now 60 and he's still doing the crazy stunts.
Yeah.
Even now, so it's like the song I guess was kind of ahead of its time. Code Monkey, I guess it is kind of a serious song. I didn't know what Code Monkey was when I heard the song until Jason explained what that was. I'm like, okay, I get it. But even though I didn't get the context, I still liked it. So I thought it was a catchy song. I'm actually going to agree with Adam. I liked Creepy Doll. I thought it was a fun comedic spin on
and it's a creepy
slasher movies.
Creepy doll.
I really like that. Still Alive was maybe I'd like it better if I knew the game it was from, but as its own song, I was like, it's kind of boring.
Okay.
I think I'm going to be the biggest defender of Mr. Fancy Pants. I really like the random goofiness of that song. Oh, Mr. Fancy Pants, oh, Mr. Fancy Pants. And even when it keeps repeating itself, I'm like, this is hilarious.
Okay.
I Crush Everything. That one's okay. Really like Skull Crusher Mountain. Thought it was a funny spin on a evil villain song. Then getting the audience to sing along was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Mandelbrot Set. Didn't care for that one. You Ruined Everything. I guess out of all the serious songs, that was probably the best written one.
Yeah.
I didn't mind that one. Your Brains, I really liked. Like it took me a bit to figure out what the audience was saying. Like, why are the audience singing like that? It's like, oh, it's about zombies. It makes sense, and it's hilarious. Okay, then we got that's probably the last really, really good song on the live album. Because The Talk with George is meh. I Feel Fantastic is okay. First of May is hot garbage. Like I hated that song. I'm like, why is this on the album? It's such a terrible idea. Even as a comedy song, it's really bad. It sounds like a 12-year-old who just learned how to cuss for the first time. It's like, hey, let's make a song about it.
Lots of effort.
Yeah, I'm like, what? This is stupid. It reminded me a lot of Star Star by the Rolling Stones.
He doesn't really
But-
curse, I think, during the album until that song, maybe. And then it's a bunch of cursing. And you're like, what the heck's
yeah,
going on?
it's like what? Like this? Like why? This is stupid.
Direction.
Yeah, like why? Like yeah, it just ends the album on a very sour note.
yeah, I didn't like that.
But I do have a top 5. My top 5, number 5 is I will say Skull Crusher Mountain, Creepy Doll in Your Brains are honorable mentions. Skull Crusher Mountain was close to making my top 5. But number 5 is Code Monkey. Number 4, Mr. Fancy Pants.
Sorry.
That's a hot take. Number 3, The Future Soon. Number 2, IKEA. And my favorite song is Tom Cruise Crazy.
Different number
As
one.
far as my score on the album, I think at 20 songs, this album does feel a bit tedious at times.
Yeah,
I don't love every song on the album. There's 2 really big missteps that really kill the album at times, especially the album closer, which was awful.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it for a one-time watch or listen. I didn't watch the footage, I just listened to it. But it's not one I'm going to go back to all that much. But I am kind of intrigued at hearing his studio album to see if I like them a little bit better. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm hoping that people will, at least you enjoyed some of the music on here and you'll at least, check it out more, I guess. I'm hoping people will at least, check out more about Jonathan Coulton, I guess, because this is a good primer to like kind of get into his music, I think. And then again, if you took your favorite songs on here and made like a playlist, you'd make a pretty good playlist out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of felt the same way because I had enough to make a good playlist out of the ones I liked.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand. Like, I would say, like, none of his studio albums or his live albums are perfect. If you listen to his stuff, took his best stuff, you can make a really good album out of it. Anyway, so that's probably the best way. The best way to listen to him is probably to make a playlist and listen to it. In other words, not listen to his actual albums. But anyways, all right. So now we're gonna go to Jacob's album. Actually, he gets to talk about the album that he got to pick, and according to the title, I get a feeling it's country music. So
I actually have this on CD. It's Cold Beer and Country Music, probably the countryest title of an album I've ever heard. And it's by a guy named Zach Top. This album came out April 5th, 2024. So this is a fairly new album. A little bit of a background on Zach Top. Zach Top, originally, I think he was he did a lot of videos on social media doing covers of classic country songs. He was also a bluegrass performer originally, but
yeah,
he ended up being signed a record deal by an independent country label called Leo 33. He's like the first big artist to be signed to that. He co-wrote every song on the album. And the thing about Zach Top is he's a big fan of like the classic traditional country music. People like George Strait, Alan Jackson. If you listen to his voice, it sounds almost like I think most people have no idea who Keith Whitley is. Keith Whitley was a big artist that was really big in the late 80s, early 90s in country music. Had a lot of great country songs, like When You Say Nothing at All is probably the biggest song he had. He sadly died of alcohol poisoning only in his 30s, but his legacy was so strong and people still view him as one of the great singers in country music. So I think Zach Top can be comparable to the more traditional country artists, Randy Travis, Joe Diffie, or some other artists that were big in the 90s that I think that Zach Top's trying to emulate. a sound that's not really was been in the mainstream country music for a good while. Because I think all your big crossover country artists are your more pop flavored country music. So this is the real deal. If you're a diehard country music fan, and as someone who loves this style of country music, growing up with George Strait and Alan Jackson, I think this is an awesome album. I mean, you start off with "Sounds Like the Radio," and that was a hit song for Zach. It was actually his debut single. I remember hearing it on the radio about a year ago. Loved it. I love the country sound on here. I love his voice. I love the '90s country aesthetic that he's replicating on this song, but doing it in his own unique way. It's got a great chorus. Sounds like the radio, back in '94, you know. Like, as soon as I hear that song, I get that song stuck in my head, and I sing along to it. It's such a good song. But yeah, the whole album is just full of great country songs. You got the title track, Cold Beer and Country Music, which I'll admit is my least favorite song on the album, but it's still a high quality song with high production on it. Cowboys Like Me Do is another one I really like. I love There's the Sun. That's a great love song on the album. There's the sun, there's the moon, and then there's you. Kind of a sweet little love song there. Another one of my favorites is Dirt Turns to Gold. I think that's a good reflective song on the album about life that I really like. You got The Kind of Woman I Like, kind of like his ideal dream woman type song. Pretty catchy stuff. Lonely for Long, really good ballad he has there. Bad Luck is one of the highlight songs on the album. Kind of like this humorous country song about some of the bad luck that keeps trailing him. It's actually kind of a funny song, and I love the I guess some of the acoustic instrumentation on the song. Use Me, wow, this is one of his best songs. I hope this becomes a hit song for him because it's a great ballad of a relationship in decline, and it feels like they're kind of using each other. It's a very heartbreaking song, and I love the writing on it. Ain't That a Heartbreak? Another one of those humorous type songs about a relationship gone south. He nails that one. The second to last song is his biggest hit to date, which is I Never Lie. And when I first heard this song, I'm like, he's going to be a superstar. There's some good irony in the song. He sings great on it. I love the production, the country, everything country about the song, whether it's the fiddle, the steel guitar. It's a masterclass of a song. And then he goes to his bluegrass roots on the last song, Things to Do, which I thought was a good way to close the album. But a part of me kind of wished I Never Lie was the album closer. I think that would have been a better one. But Things to Do is still pretty good in its own right. So if I had to rank my top five, Bad Luck would be number 5. Number 4, Sounds Like the Radio. Number 3, Dirt Turns to Gold. Number 2, Use Me. And my favorite song on the album is the big hit, I Never Lie. And I'm going to rate this album a 10 out of 10. I thought this was an amazing album. I can't wait to hear more from this guy. I think he's going to go to great places if his albums are as consistent as his debut. But I'm sure Jason's not going to be as positive on this album.
Right, not. All right, Adam,
We'll see where I land.
Adam, do you
on
like
the album?
hear and listen to country music?
Well, if I listen to country music, this is definitely the sort of music I go to.
Okay.
I loved it. I've now listened to all of his all of his music.
Well, right now this is his only album.
I think he got something in 2022, but it had a lot of his singles on it.
Yeah, I think he did like an EP or something. This was like his official debut album.
Yeah, so he's like brand new artist.
Yeah.
You start with Sounds Like the Radio. Yeah, I really like that one. It's very catchy with the chorus. Yeah, I thought it began really strong. They got the title track called Beer and Country Music. Not one of my absolute favourites, but I still really enjoy it. Then you got Cowboys Like Me Do. Yeah, I really love that one. That's one of my favourites on the album. Then you got There's the Sun. They're one of my favourite songs on the album. It's my favourite of the slower songs on the album. Then you got Dirt Turns to Gold. One that didn't quite make my top 5. It'd probably be my number 6. I really love that one though. Then you got The Kind of Woman I Like. Probably my least favourite song in the first half of the album, but I still think it's really good. Then you got Lonely for Long. Another one of my favourite songs in the album. Yeah, I really love that one. Bad Luck. Yeah, I thought that one was really good. But then you get to Use Me. That stands out for me. Yeah, I really love that one. Then you got 8 Minute Heartbreak. Probably my least favourite song on the album, but I still think it was quite good. Then you got the biggest hit list on the album, I Never Lie. Yeah, that one's definitely the top 5 for me. Really love that one. And I agree it should have been the album closer. Although I still think Things to Do is really good. I think I Never Lie should have ended the album. But that's my top 5. So my number 6 would be Dirt Turns to Gold. For number 5, I think I'm going to go with Use Me. For number 4, I Never Lie. For number 3, I'll go with Lonely for Long. Number 2, Cowboys Like Me Do. And number 1, There's the Sun.
Nice.
So I'm going with I'm Your Moon. The Jonathan Colton. Going There's the Sun.
There's the Sun. It's crazy there's a connection there. There's the Sun would have been my number 6. That was close to making my top 5.
As a rating, I'm going to give this a 9.75.
Oh, nice.
I might have to get on CD myself at some point.
I don't think there's a Moon and Sun song on the next album, so I guess we
we have a Mr. Brightside. I do know that.
Brightside, that's the closest thing we got to.
But that isn't my favorite on that one though.
I forgot Mike said something here.
Mike?
He's in the house.
Hey, Mike.
Always glad to see you, Mike. Just got back from his Japanese honeymoon with his wife, so he's back making videos and all that. All right, yeah. So Cold Beer and Country Music. What a country album! And I would call this. I'm trying to think. Like when I listen to this album, I put it in the category of honky tonk country. I don't know if that's a term I made up myself.
I've heard country music be called like that. So
I don't know. You said traditional. Maybe it's
more traditional's what I would define it, but honky tonk is kind of in the same vein.
Okay, yeah, it's that style. Like I'm starting to get like different styles of country music. There's like the pop country, I guess. There's kind of the rock country, southern rock country, and there's like this style, which is I call honky tonk or traditional. Maybe I don't know. And there might be some more styles. I guess bluegrass could be a style. I don't know.
Yeah,
there might be more styles.
Then there's like the folksy Americana type music too.
Yeah, so this is in that type I call honky tonk, which is my least probably favorite type of country music. I like the pop country. Like my favorite album so far has been the Shania Twain one. I really like that album. And I like some of Chris Stapleton's kind of more southern rock country. He's got some good stuff. He's got a different style to him. This is maybe closer to Eric Church, has a little bit more of that honky tonk, a little bit in him, but a little bit pop maybe as well. Even Garth Brooks. Garth Brooks is my favorite singer, and he has a little bit of honky tonk in him on some of his songs. But then he has some really good more I don't know, pop, or I don't know if they even call it pop, but I don't know. He has music that I really like, of course. That can. There's certain artists that could, what do you call it? Be played on country and be played on pop stations, and
Yeah.
Crossover artists, I guess you can say. I really don't like the style of country he's singing here, I would say. I never heard of Zach Top before. Of course, he's kind of brand new, I guess, in country music. He's okay. He doesn't have like an outstanding voice that like stands out amongst some of the other singers we've heard. Like I said, Chris Stapleton, Orville Peck. I really liked his voice. Stuff like that. He doesn't quite have the catchy stuff that Eric Church has. I like Eric Church a little bit better because he had some really catchy music on his album that we listened to, the Chief album. What I do like is I like the more slower songs. I find that I like the slower songs on the album better than the upbeat ones. But I feel that way about Garth Brooks too. Some of my favorite Garth Brooks songs are "The Dance," "If Tomorrow Never Comes," "The River." I love those type of songs. So I'm starting to think maybe when it comes to country music, I like the ballads more than the upbeat stuff. A lot of times, that's where you get me. Anyway, so. For me, like "Sounds Like the Radio," didn't really like that song. It was just too country, too honky tonk country. Cold Beer and Country Music, same way. They're kind of like almost like an homage to country music. Like he's kind of almost singing about how great country music is. I'm like, I don't care for that stuff. Cowboys Like Me Do, I thought had a good melody to it. It was an okay song. There's a song, love that song. That was a great ballad. As we've all talked about. It's a nice, sweet love ballad. Love there's a sun, there's a moon, and there's you. I'm like, I don't know what that means, but it's sweet. Somehow about it, it's like, that's nice and sweet. I don't know what that means. There's a sun and the moon, there's you. But it's a nice song. I really liked it. Dirt Turns to Gold is the best song lyrically. Like, I really love the lyrics on this song. It was really a really well-written song. My feelings is that I'm from Kansas, so I'm around a lot of farmers. It sounds like he's singing to the point of view of a farmer, maybe. I don't know if that's what it's about. But that's what I thought of when I heard the song. And like as a kid, he's like, I don't want to be a farmer like you. He's talking to like his dad, like, you and everybody else, you might love farming, but I don't really love farming. I'm gonna do something else when I get older. And his dad or something's telling him, I was like you once. I thought the same thing, but then when I got older, I realized dirt turns to gold, which I'm trying to think, what does that mean? Is it just means farming, you'll fall in love with farming, or farming makes a lot of money? I'm not sure exactly what it means by dirt turns to gold, but I'm thinking it has something to do with farming. And
it's more about the country lifestyle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then it's good, and it's good storytelling, because then by the end of the song, he kind of has grown up, and he's now telling, I think maybe his girlfriend or something, that he loves the dirt. The dirt turns to gold, and so it's a good character arc of him not wanting to be like his dad or something. I don't know. And then by the end, he kind of he loves the dirt or whatever. So I love how lyrically how that played out, anyways, and really good song. This Kind of Woman I Like was okay. It was a fun song. I do find in country music, you do find a lot of humorous songs. I think that's pretty common in country music now that I think about it. I see. I used to work at one of the nursing homes I worked at. They always had the channel on CMA, whatever the country, or CMT, Country Music Television.
CMT, yeah.
And so every morning I would be seeing country music videos. Like every morning when I was working, I would just be seeing the same country music videos. And there's songs like "Day Drinking," it's kind of a funny song, and there's a song, "Getting Drunk on a Plane." I mean, so they're very humorous music videos. I'm like, there's definitely some humor in country music, and there's some on this album as well. I find, like as you mentioned, "Lonely for Long," another nice ballad. Again, I really like the ballads here; are really good. I thought that was a good. I think it was like, he's talking to this girl. This girl has like a boyfriend, I think, and if that guy ever leaves you, you won't be lonely for long because I'm gonna be with you. So it's a nice song.
Message me.
Bad Luck. It was an okay song. I really liked the chorus. Again, I think it had more of the humor to it. Use Me. I thought, okay. It was decent. Ain't That Heartbreak? My least favorite song on the album. It definitely was humorous. It was just a little too silly at times for me. I don't know. And he's going through these different, like his wife's leaving him, but then he's talking about I'm gonna fight for the children, but then she's like, the children aren't yours, I think, or something. That's kind of the ending of that. But it's different storylines, I guess, of that. And it has my least favorite lyric I think I've ever heard in a song, which is, "Ain't that a screw your head around?" I've never heard that term before. That's a screw your head around. Thought that was a weird lyric. It did not work for this. When I heard it, every time he's in the chorus, well, ain't that a screw your head around? And I'm like, what? Screw your head around? That's a weird term I've never heard. And I would never use that term. Anyways, so lyrically, I wasn't so big on it. And it was definitely honky tonk country. I wasn't into. I Never Lie, didn't like that song. It sounds like I didn't know that was a big hit. I'm like,
Yeah, that's the big hit.
I was not into the song. Again, I don't know. I didn't like the style, I guess, of the country music. Wasn't for me. It sounds like you guys liked it a lot more than I did. It's funny. It's definitely not my top three. And yet some of my top three stuff was mentioned. Some of it wasn't mentioned by you guys, or we definitely had a little bit. No, well, I shouldn't say that. You'll see my top three here. Definitely my top three was different, I think, than Jacob's. So it was interesting. I was kind of surprised. Like, my favorite song he didn't mention in his top five, and I was like, what? That song was so good. Then Things to Do, didn't like that song either. I wasn't into it. Again, not into the the honky tonk country style. Like the more ballads, and The Dirt Turns to Gold I thought was really well written. Anyways, so there's some good stuff on here, some okay stuff, and then some stuff I really didn't care for. Unfortunately, this is, I would say, my least favorite of the country albums that we've covered so far. I would say
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I liked the Shania Twain one. I like Chief better. I liked the Orville Peck one. I forget now the names of these albums. And the Chris Stapleton. I would say I like all those albums more than this one so far. But I'll do my top three favorite songs on here. I thought there's three really good songs on here. Number 3, Dirt Turns to Gold. I thought that was really well written. 2, Lonely for Long. Number 1, definitely my favorite, There's the Sun. Man, that was a good song. It wasn't in your top 5, Jacob. I was like,
it was number 6.
I was waiting for it, and you never mentioned, There's the Sun? And Adam had number 1, so me and Adam totally agreed on that song. That song was so good on this album. To me, that I was like, is that not the hit song on the album?
Well, so far he only has 2 hit songs, but that's subject to change.
Okay, because to me that should be a hit song. There's the Sun.
Yeah. Well, maybe that could be single number 3.
I would think if it was me, I would say that's the song on the album.
What single number 2?
I Never Lie. That's currently on the charts right now. Yeah, it sounds like the radio. Then I Never Lie.
Sounds like the radio's the first one, right?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. So I mean, not quite good enough for me to recommend compared to some of the other albums we've heard. Again, just a little bit lower because I think you gave like a 7.5 to the Chris Stapleton one. So this is just a little bit lower than that one, in my opinion. I don't know. It just wasn't my style, I guess. It's probably a good album if you like country music. I guess I just wasn't, unfortunately.
Yeah. But I'm curious what the other half's gonna think of this album.
I'd probably be the most negative. I'm gonna be surprised if I'm the negative.
I can see this being up Nick's alley.
Nick usually likes the country albums.
He likes the more traditional.
Yeah, he does.
Mm-hmm. I've got him on George Strait.
For me, give me Carrie Underwood, and Shania Twain. I guess Shania Twain or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right. So the last album we're going to cover is an album that Scott from Sound Lab Studios chose for this exchange, and it's called Hot Fuss, and it's by the band The Killers. This came out in 2004. So I guess we'll go to you, Adam. What are your thoughts on Hot Fuss?
Well, I've known the Killers for a while. In fact, I've heard this album before, but it was quite a few years ago, so I enjoy revisiting the album. But I've actually got the Killers album behind me. It's their compilation album
Oh, okay.
called Rebel Diamond. It released, I think it was last year, it released, or a couple of years ago. It's got a lot of these songs from the album are on that one. I think about 4 songs on the album are actually on that. But yeah, I'll give my thoughts on this album. It's a debut studio album.
It's a debut, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. That you start off with Jenny. Jenny was a friend of mine. Yeah, I think that's a really good song on the album. I'm not sure when it started the album with that song, but I still do really enjoy it. I would have personally started it with next track, Mr. Brightside.
Yeah.
Probably their biggest song. One of the biggest songs anyway. I've always loved this one. It's one of the first Killer songs I knew. And then you got the next track on the album. It's another one of the biggest songs. Smile Like You Mean It. Yeah, I really love that one. But I really love Somebody Told Me. I'll reveal it now. That's my favorite song on the album.
Yeah, that's the big one.
Yeah. That's probably the biggest song on the album.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's my favorite one. I think it used to be Mr. Brightside, but I've heard that one too many times now. I hear those 3 songs on the radio quite often. So, yeah, I'm very, very familiar with those songs. And then you got All These Things That I've Done. Another song that's from the Rebel Diamonds compilation. Yeah, I really love that one. I mean, the first half of the album, it's full of some of their best music. And then the second half of the album, you've got Andy, You're a Star. Yeah, I really love that one. It's one of their more underrated songs. Then you got the song On Top. Not one of my favourites, but I still thought it was really good though. Then you got Change Your Mind. Yeah, change your mind. Yeah, I thought that one was really good. But there's actually a different in the UK version of the album. It's actually got a different song.
Yeah.
It's called Rock and Roll. I think it's called Indie Rock and Roll.
Huh.
Or Glamorous Indie Rock and Roll. Which I find quite interesting why they changed it.
That's weird.
It was like that for Australia as well. I think it was the US and the other countries other than UK and Australia got Change Your Mind. And I actually prefer the song that the UK got. I think both versions are both really good songs though. Then you got Believe Me Natalie. Yeah, I think that one's really good. Not got much else to really say about it though. Then you got probably my least favorite song on the album, Midnight Show. I still thought it was pretty great, and I thought Everything Would Be Alright was also pretty great as well. So I think overall it's a really excellent album. I think it's a little bit of a long album. It's 45 minutes long. So I think maybe it could have been a couple tracks shorter. But I'm still going to give it a 9.5. Like, I want to listen to more of their studio albums.
Yeah.
I want to listen to the one that came out most recently. It's called Pressure Machine for 2021. I won't mind checking that out at some point. But I'll give a top 3. So number 3 is Mr. Brightside. I think actually I might go with I might go with Somebody Told Me as my number 2. I'll change my mind.
Oh, really?
I'm gonna go with All These Things That Are Done as my number 1.
Oh, okay.
It's a toss up between those two, but that's how I feel right now.
Oh, okay. During the review, you're like, well, this is my favorite song. And then you went back.
I'll change my mind.
Change my
Yeah.
mind.
If the songs are neck and neck, it is hard.
Yeah. Yeah, very true. I was the same way about Jonathan Colton. I could put Skull Crusher Mountain number 1. It's hard to pick. But anyways, all right, go to you, Jacob. What are your thoughts on the Killers here?
All right. So I was kind of sort of familiar with the Killers. I've heard Mr. Brightside and Somebody Told Me, but that was about it. Those are like the 2 big songs. So when Scott suggested this, I was intrigued to see how a full album of the Killers would be. I will say on a production level, I think it's a really cool album. Like, I guess that you can consider this like alternative pop rock or something like that. There was a lot of synthesizers on the album, and it reminded me a lot of 80s rock music, which was really cool. I actually really liked that about the album. And it reminded me of, I think, a band to compare the Killers to that reminded me of, I think, was some of Duran Duran stuff in the 80s where you had, they were a rock band, but they put in synth pop and new wave into their music and had some really cool production behind that. So, as for the album, Jenny was a friend of mine. What a awesome way to open the album. Kind of a dark song lyrically because it's about a woman named Jenny who was murdered. That's what the song's about. That's like, okay, it's kind of a dark way to open the album, but
Quite
it's
a
a
few
cool
of the songs are quite dark.
it's a cool song production wise. I'm like, man, this is a cool song. Yeah, really, really good way to open the album. Then you got Mr. Brightside, and that's a song I'm the most familiar with. I've heard it quite a few times. Really catchy song. I think, yeah, I like it. It's crazy. Lyrically, that song's kind of messed up too. It's a guy who notices that his girlfriend is cheating on him, and he witnesses it, and all the minute details of it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh wow. but yeah, it's another highlight song. It's I can see why it was a big hit, and it's one of the highlights on the album. Smile Like You Mean It, another song that apparently was a hit. I never heard it until listening to the album, but I thought it was another really good song. Somebody Told Me is the other song I'm super familiar with. It's another one of the highlights. It has some really weird lyrics in the chorus, like "Somebody told me you had a boyfriend who looked like a girlfriend" or something. I'm like, this is hard to keep up, but it's still an earworm, and it's one of the highlights on the album. My favorite discovery is Adam's favorite song, All the Things That I've Done. Love that song. I love the production on it. It almost had kind of a Western feel, and I watched the music video along with it, and I thought that was really, I thought it was a really cool video. And I love the harmonies on the track, especially in the bridge where it's like, "I'm not a soldier, I'm not a soldier," or something like that.
I got soul, but I'm not.
Oh, I got so that's right. I got sober. I'm not a soldier. I love that part of the song. I'm like, man, this is awesome. Uh, I love the production on it, and it was probably my favorite discovery on the album. The first 5 songs alone, if it was an EP, yeah, I'd give it a 10 out of 10. It was that good.
It'd be the best EP of all time.
It probably would be. It was that good. The album takes a little bit of a dip after track 5. Not that it's a bad album, but none of the songs after All These Things That I've Done could match how amazing the first 5 songs are. Andy, You're a Star, I wasn't really a fan. I thought it was kind of annoying. You're a star. I didn't care for that one. On Top, I thought was one of the better songs in the second half. Again, I like the synth work on it. Change Your Mind was another one that was all right. Believe Me, Natalie, I didn't care for. Midnight Show was all right, and I did not care for Everything Will Be All Right. I thought it went on way too long, especially on a slower song like that. And I didn't hear the other track on the UK version, Glamorous Indie Rock and Roll, so I can't vouch for that one. But I heard the standard US release of the album. All right, so my top 5. Well, the first 5 songs are my top 5, but how am I going to rank them? Number 5, Smile Like You Mean It. Number 4, Jenny Was a Friend of Mine. Number 3, All These Things That I've Done. Number 2, Somebody Told Me. Number 1, Mr. Brightside. And even with the dip in the second half, I think the first 5 songs are so good. The highest I'll give the album's an 8 out of 10. I think it's a really strong album. But if the rest of the album was like the first 5 tracks, it probably would be the best album on the Exchange.
All right. My thoughts on Hot Fuss by The Killers. So The Killers, I'm not real familiar with this band, really not familiar at all. And I've heard that name though. I've heard the name The Killers. Like I knew there's a band called The Killers. And I thought when Scott put this on The Killers, I was like, okay, The Killers. I think I know some of their music. I'm sure they have some hit songs on the radio, whatever. And then when I looked them up and was like looking at their songs, to be honest, I only knew one song, and that's Somebody Told Me. I remember that song was on the radio a lot in 2004, and I was in college at that time, and I was still listening to the radio and to rock music, current rock music, and yeah, that song was played a lot on the radio. So I knew that song very well. When I got to that song, I was like, oh yeah, I remember the song pretty well. Mr. Brightside, I thought maybe I knew that song because I thought, oh, I think I've heard people talk about this song, Mr. Brightside, as being like a big song for them or something like that. But then when I was listening to it, I was like, I've never heard this song before. So I'm like, I'm totally new song for me, Mr. Brightside. I thought I knew it, but then I was like, oh, I never heard this. I don't know. If I never remember hearing it on the radio. So if it was a radio song, I don't remember it anyways. I only remember the one song that told me. And even looking at their other, like I was looking on their, Spotify channel, and I didn't recognize any other song that they had like in their top 10 like songs or whatever. So I find out that I don't know the Killers at all. They're just a totally new band for me, except for one song basically. So yeah, this is kind of just a new band discovery kind of in a way. And I'm guessing this is probably their biggest album because it has their biggest song on it, or the 2 biggest songs on it. So I'm sure this is like probably considered like their best album, I would probably guess. And it's their debut album because, like I said, I don't think they've had any other big hits besides maybe Somebody Told Me, Mr. Brightside. Maybe the only 2 big hits I know about, or I've heard people talk about. Anyways, but yeah, and I totally agree with Jacob. Like everything Jacob said, I'm like exactly the same. I feel exactly the same about it. The first 5 songs are the best 5 songs on the album, and then it takes a huge dive after that, and there's not another good song after that. Anyways, but the first song, Jenny Was a Friend of Mine, I thought it was decent. To me, the best part of the band is the lead singer. I think the lead singer has really good rock vocals, and he has a very unique voice, and he definitely elevates these songs more than probably they would be otherwise. So to me, that was definitely the highlight or MVP of the album is the lead singer. And I liked his vocals on this first song. I thought were really good. Mr. Brightside, I thought was one of the best songs on the album. I thought it had a really good chorus to it. And I liked how fast paced it was. It was a very like fast paced song that really got going. I was like, okay, I'm really getting into the song. So I see why it's a hit song. 3, Smile Like You Mean It. I thought it was an okay song. I thought it was decent overall. Then Somebody Told Me. Yeah, it's the big hit. I knew the song very well, so honestly, I definitely gravitated towards the song because I could sing along to it because I remember hearing this on the radio. It's such a weird song that Somebody Told Me you had a boyfriend that was a girlfriend from last year. I don't know. It was like, what is the song about? What's it talking about? I don't get it. But that chorus is so catchy. Definitely an earworm of a song, and the whole song is very catchy. I enjoy all of it. And I agree. All These Things I've Done, I thought was a really good song. Super catchy. Another super catchy song. Yeah, that I got soul, but I'm not a soldier. That was definitely the best part of the song where I was like, I was like, all right, like I'm really getting into the song, and I can really get into it and sing along, and gets in my head. That whole part gets into my head, and I sing it all day long. So yeah, good stuff there. Yeah. After that, oh my gosh, this album to me got really boring, got really uninteresting. It just felt very forgettable music for me. Andy Your Star, I thought was so boring. I thought that was a terrible song. I was bored to tears on that one.
I'm the only one that liked that one out of the three of us.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's like I agree with Jacob. What are you saying on these songs? Like On Top, I thought was really boring. I thought that was terrible. Change Your Mind was not terrible. It was okay. Believe Me, Natalie was like okay, but just very forgettable songs. I don't know how to say it. I was trying to think. The vocals are pretty good, but the guitars are very forgettable. There's not any really great guitar riffs here that bring me back to the song or go, oh yeah, I remember that guitar riff. Like when I listen to Led Zeppelin, I can remember a song because of the guitar riff and go, wow, that was such a cool guitar riff. Some of my favorite bands are like that. But this, I was like, man, all the guitar stuff sounds the same on these songs, and it's not really hooking me in. The drumming, the bass playing, nothing's really hooking me in musically. The lead singer is good, but that's about it. Midnight Show, terrible song. Again, just so boring. Did not like it. Everything Will Be Alright, didn't like that song. Glamorous Indie Rock and Roll, did not like that. Anyways, the last part of this album, just so boring and forgettable. I don't know. I couldn't get into it for some reason. Even on multiple listens, I just couldn't get into these songs at the end. Anyway, so yeah, this ended up being just being an album. I thought, okay, this would be a cool new, it's a 2000s within the last 20 years, almost 21 years. I haven't listened to a lot of this music in the 2000s. So I was like, okay, they're a popular band, I was kind of interested in the album, but man, if this is their best album, I do not care for the Killers. And I'm not interested in listening to any more albums if this is their best album. Because to me, this was not a good album. Anyways, number three, my top three is the same top three as you guys. I think we all agreed on the top three. We have them in different orders. Number three, All These Things I've Done. Number two, Mr. Brightside. Number one for me was Somebody Told Me. Definitely was the catchiest song on the album. And to me, the only like big hit song that they had that I know about. But I've talked to people and they said they're fans of the Killers, so there's a big fan base out there. So in fact, I was working with a girl named Natalie at work, and I was listening to this album, and I said, hey Natalie, I'm listening to this song called "Believe Me, Natalie" by the Killers, and she goes, oh, the Killers, I'm a big fan of them. I'd never heard that song. I'm like, oh, I was like, oh, they have a song just with your name in it. You should listen to it. So I was like, okay. So she's like in her early 20s, and she said she's a big Killers fan. So I'm like, okay, so there's probably fans out there. I'm just not one of them. But anyways, overall, I'm giving it a 6.5 out of 10. This is, I won't even say it's the worst album in our exchange. There's some even worse ones in here, but this is definitely one of the worst ones I've heard. I'm trying to look at my other scores. I think I have one other album. Yeah, I have one other album that got a worse score than this one.
I will say my lowest score was your album, Jason.
I figured, yeah.
All my albums, all the other ones were higher than a 6.
What did you give the exact top one again?
Oh, I gave it a 10.
What did you give it, Jason?
I gave it a 7. So to be honest, I only gave 2 good scores on all the 6 albums. One of them was mine, and the other one we haven't talked about yet. That I gave. Besides that, most of them I did not give good scores on this on this album exchange. But we'll get to those next time. Which ones like? Anyway, so yeah, that's our third and last album we'll talk about. We got 3 more albums. The Sammy Davis Jr. Show by Sammy Davis Jr. We got Slow Hand by Eric Clapton and Heart of Stone by Cher. So definitely a lot of different styles we've covered. I mean, I covered kind of indie, kind of comedy, folk style or something. Jacob's covering country. We got somewhat newer 2000s rock
Yeah.
in here. We got 80s pop. We got 80s, I want to say slow hand 70s. No, 70s. So slow
Yeah.
hand 70s. 70s, I don't know what do you call that style, but
That's a rock album.
I guess rock. Yeah. I guess
Yeah.
it'd be
A little bit of country influence on some of the songs.
a little country in there. Anyway, so yeah. So we'll get to those albums next week anyway. So definitely, yeah, I feel like I'm giving the low scores like all these albums.
Well, I think the more we diversify our picks, I think we know what our favorite styles of music is.
I want to say cold beer and country music did pretty well, except for me.
Yeah. That's the one I'm curious what the other half of the group is going to think of.
Yeah, we'll see with the other group how these.
And I'm curious what they think of your pick.
Oh, me too. I can see Nick giving this like a 2 or a 1 and be like, this is a horrible album. I'll be like, yeah, it's an out there album. I understand. Not for everybody. Besides that, thank you so much to Adam Jacob joining me again on this album exchange. And it's so fun kind of reviewing these new albums that I never heard of and getting into trying to diversify, get into new music. Even if I don't like it, it's fun to kind of, get everybody's take on this, on their favorite albums and all that. So yeah, thank you, Adam. Thank you, Jacob. And that's it for now. And we'll see you later and have a good weekend.
Yep. Thank you.